Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our next matchup. Your host, Taju, here with you, and this matchup is brought to you by THQ. Now, this matchup is a rematch from last show. In fact, Mr. Rogers was supposed to have fought Bret Hart, but instead he ended up getting the British Bulldog. Well, this time around, the British Bulldog wanted a rematch with Mr. Rogers, so with that in mind, let's begin. And we're off. And a crossbody onto the British Bulldog to begin the matchup. A kick and a punch right to the left arm of the British Bulldog. Of course, the British Bulldog, I mean, they're both the same size, but British Bulldog is obviously the stronger man, but of course, Mr. Rogers has the experience. A hip toss onto the British Bulldog. Then a neck breaker onto Davey Boy Smith, which is his real name. In fact, doesn't matter if you call him Davey Boy Smith or the British Bulldog. It doesn't really matter. I mean, they're one and the same person. It's just the British Bulldog is his ring name, and that Davey Boy Smith, is the guy's real name. I mean, of course, he also wrestled under his own name, so that's why I'm allowed to call him by his own name. So, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. An arm smash onto Mr. Fred Rogers. Fred Rogers, that's his full name. And now Mr. Rogers, what's he going to do here? Wow, a slingshot suplex, that's what he calls it. Then a drop kick onto the British Bulldog. So far, Mr. Rogers has taken control of this match. And, actually, British Bulldog outsmarted him that time. And delivered a DDT on the run to Mr. Rogers. Another neck breaker onto the British Bulldog. Oh, and a rake in the eyes. Then a back elbow onto the British Bulldog. A back elbow onto Mr. Rogers, followed up with a DDT. So far, Mr. Rogers has had the upper hand for the most part. In fact, he's always one step ahead of the British Bulldog. And an armbar onto the British Bulldog. Now the question is the British Bulldog going to get out of this? British Bulldog, if he doesn't do something, he's going to have to tap out. And he does. He taps out. And Mr. Rogers owns the British Bulldog. Well, now, this is a good gesture. I mean, oh, come on! A low blow right to Mr. Rogers. I mean, how much more disrespectful can you get? I mean, that's a television legend, damn it! I mean, Mr. Rogers paved the way for me, as well as all the young guys on the roster these days, today, as well as Mr. Rogers paved the way for many of us, as well as those yet to come. And yet you have the disrespect, and yet you have the gall to disrespect Mr. Rogers like that? Seriously, British Bulldog, really? Well, if it wasn't a rivalry before, it is now. Until then, stay tuned for the next match, alright? Stay tuned.